Okay. All right. We're gonna attempt to remain calm on this one because I got family in the house. I don't want them to think I'm about to murder anything. This story is a bit of a doozy and is currently a bit of an ongoing process at the moment. There may be a part two to this. There may not be a part two to this. I don't know. I legitimately do not know. Here's the wild tale of me trying to book a hotel room for the second year. And let's just say, last time I booked a hotel, which was for a place in Asheville, I was looking to move to Asheville, and so I wanted to scout the area out. I tried using booking.com, and unfortunately, that entered a lot of hassle into the process when I needed to make a few changes to my reservation, because apparently, no, once you do use booking.com, you have to do everything through booking.com, and sometimes they're not the most helpful people out there. This time, I ended up going directly through the hotel's website, which turned out to be an even bigger mistake. So, all right, yeah, if you're not familiar with my history of dealing with fraud and being robbed from big corporations, because in case you guys don't remember, this ain't my first rodeo. No, 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 no. I've been robbed before once by Shell. Now, they did admittedly refund most of my money. They're still technically holding 4 cents from me, and yes, I will remain petty on that. And basically, the story with that ended where I basically had to threaten to call the police. Yeah, it got that bad. This ain't my first rodeo, guys. This is not the first time a big corporation has unjustly charged me for something. Last time around, Shell basically charged my card. It charged me $80 and didn't give me any gas. I had a debit card at the time. I didn't have any credit cards. I guess that makes things a bit scary for these gas companies. So what they do is they'll withdraw. It depends on where you're shopping. For Shell, at least, it's like $85 or something like that. Others I hear can be over $100. Shell will draw basically like $85, and in theory, that's supposed to be used as a credit for filling up your tank. Once you get charged $85, you can then fill up your tank, and once they calculate that all out, you should get refunded or something like that. It's a weird process that these companies go through because I guess somehow it's easy to steal gas or something. I don't think it's that easy. But either way, what ended up happening was they charged my card $85 and they didn't let me fuel up. They refused to activate the pump. And I ended up driving home on E. I almost didn't make it to the gas station the next day because I was that low on fuel. Yeah, that was a hassle in and of itself. And I thought big corporations pulling stupid stunts like that would be over, but unfortunately, it's not. And now we are into the hotel industry frauding me. This time, basically trying to rob my money. Here's the story. Basically, this summer in August, I am planning on a trip to the Washington, D.C. area to visit one of my buddies from the podcast. We've been attempting to meet up for a while now. We tried last year, but the timing didn't work out because of my North Carolina trip. So, yeah, that timing didn't work out, but I would love to do a get-together, would love to do a collaboration, and as such, I am in the process of getting everything booked, getting tickets for any museums necessary, even though I visited a lot of museums, though I'm bringing a friend with me and he wants to visit more museums. So yeah, we're in the process of getting this trip planned. We're getting tickets for things. We're getting hotels reserved. I'm also working on renting a Tesla for the week because if you know me, I really love Teslas. So yeah, that's the occasion. So timeline perspective, this all happened yesterday on Sunday, April 20th, Easter Sunday actually. I am filming this the day after this happened because a lot has happened in the time since. So yesterday, we're finally in the process of we're selecting our hotel to stay at for the week in DC. And based off of some recommendations from my podcast buddy in the area, he gave me a general area to look, and I found a hotel that offered something that not a lot of hotels offer, and this was really appealing for me and my buddy. See, we don't really like the food industry as it is today. Not for customer service reasons or anything. It's just the problem is you can't find good food these days. And I'm talking food like that's actually healthy for you, that isn't all this processed crap. A benefit that we found at this hotel in particular, the Extended Stay America in Gaithersburg, this hotel actually offers a stove and a sink and like an actual little kitchenette for preparing meals, which is very appealing for me and my buddy, both going down to DC. We took a look at the rates, and the rates were not completely unreasonable. It's basically roughly $100 a night. The rates really were not that unreasonable. And so we figured, all right, considering the amenities it's offering and the rates aren't totally unreasonable and the place doesn't look completely run down like a Super 8 or a Red Roof Inn or something like that, we both decided, all right, let's book it. I go online, and after my last experience with booking.com, it wasn't terrible, but it added a lot of unnecessary hassle if any changes needed to be made. So I decided to opt for using the website this time. Oh, and also we discovered a new problem with booking.com. Somehow, for this particular hotel chain, they don't let you hold your payment until you get there. What you have to do is you have to pay all the money up front, which we don't want to do that right now. This is still a trip far out in the future. We need to be ready to cancel if need be. Yeah, I decided, all right, scrapbooking.com. We're going to go directly through the website. Ooh, and let's just say Extended Stay America has a lot of work they need to do because, oh my goodness, this has resulted in one of my worst customer service experiences ever. It's gotten to the point where I'm now officially filing a chargeback. This is how bad it's gotten. Sunday night, Easter night, I was on my laptop at 9:30 making this booking. I go to the website, I select one room, 2 beds, not a single bed. That's basically my selection. I selected that. I put my dates in for August. I'm not gonna give them away because I don't want random people just meeting up with me in DC. Just that I'm not there just yet. So I put in my dates for August. And then after that, it's basically, all right, let's confirm some details like who the heck are you? What's your address and your billing information, various such and such, you know, the standard rigmarole you go through when online shopping and booking a hotel, right? One thing that I especially learned from last time I booked a hotel, make sure you get all of your details correct. And when it comes to spending big money, I do not take spending big money lightly. I think about these purchases real hard. Like, for example, Stardust, that was a big purchase and I had to think about it real hard. And ultimately, I'm genuinely serious. Stardust was one of the best purchases in my life. Along with this MacBook Pro that I'm actually recording this video on. I'm just using the webcam. This MacBook that I'm using to make this video effectively from start to finish was a $2,500 purchase. $2,600 after taxes, in fact. And yeah, that's a lot of money. I'm always careful. I always make sure that, yes, this is what I want, and I will double, triple check all of the details to make sure that I'm not just throwing money out the table. I'm very careful when it comes to shopping for expensive items with a lot of money. Yes, I double checked, I triple checked, I did every single check you can think of, and all right, everything looked right. Got my dates in August, billing is correct, the name is right. I hit whatever the confirmation button was. They used some special name for it, but I basically hit the confirmation button, and you are not going to believe what happened. Again, I'm careful with this stuff. I double, triple checked everything on that. Something did not process right with my reservation. For some reason, I don't know how it happened. And again, I was careful. I made extra sure that those dates were correct. The dates randomly decided to default back to April 20th to April 27th, not my dates that I set in August. And here's the problem. April 20th was the exact day I was making this booking. So effectively, what the website thought was I told it, I'm booking for tonight into next week. That was not right. I don't know how that error got there. And again, I double, triple checked those dates before I hit the confirmation button. And all I can tell you is Before I hit the confirmation button, those dates were set in August. In fact, the first date was not even a double digit number, it was a single digit number. And somehow the first date on the confirmation thing came out to be a April 20th. Yeah, something did not process right at all. So luckily for me, I immediately caught this. I was looking through, checking all this stuff, and then I immediately caught this discrepancy. So the next thing I did was I immediately got on the phone with customer support at Extended Stay. Well, actually, no, I lied. What I ended up doing was I looked through the rest of the website to see if I could modify this reservation, because you'd think this would be a standard feature on a website, right? You'd think you should be able to modify or cancel appointments through the website, right? Right? No. When I clicked modify reservation, instead what it did was it created a whole new separate booking. So now I have two bookings. I got two confirmation emails for two completely separate bookings. The second one actually did process correctly. It did have my dates that I wanted in August. So, all right, now all of that is, in theory, my reservation in August is correct and is set, and there shouldn't be any hassle going on with that, unless an extended stay somehow it up even more. But now we got this whole new problem, because most hotels, and I'm not shocked about this, and I don't blame them for doing this, but most hotels will have a no-show fee if you don't show up, because they need to take time to make sure that a room is prepped. And well, if somebody randomly shows up and they don't have any rooms available, because there's rooms that are reserved and you can't just turn those reservations down without pissing a whole bunch of people off, yeah, it makes sense to have a no-show fee. I'm not going to blame them for this. Yeah, you can probably see where this is about to become a problem. So effectively, I knew I was immediately going to get charged with a no-show fee, because this is a hotel in Gaithersburg, Maryland, which is right outside of DC. I live in Houghton, Michigan, a solid 1,000+ miles away from there. What's the exact distance? All right, I just looked it up. The exact distance by road, not by the crow flies, but the exact distance by road is 1,040 miles. So basically, according to their website, I basically had, in order to not get charged a no-show fee, I would have to travel 1,040 miles in under 3 hours to show up to this. I mean, what would that average speed be? Real quick, let me do some math. I'd have to be averaging a speed of 346 miles an hour to make it there. Yeah, that ain't happening. So, all right, yep, we now have ourselves a massive problem where I have this appointment and I'm gonna get charged a no-show fee, and the website did basically nothing to help me cancel this at all. Literally, the only option that I had was, is your reservation wrong? Well, let's just create a new one and fix it. You want to cancel a reservation? Apparently, you have to call customer service, and this is where everything just starts to go all downhill from here, guys. This is not gonna look good. I immediately called customer support. I found the phone number on Extended Stay America's website, called it up, and explained the situation that the website somehow, I don't know how it do this. I'm not a website expert, but I have a pretty good idea on how to detect who made the mistake, and I'm pretty confident it was ESA on this one. So I explained the situation to customer support, and the lady, I'm not going to dunk on her at all. Most of the agents I talked to were actually helpful. Most of them. So I talked to this lady, I explained the situation, and basically she told me that I had a slight problem with canceling it. I mean, we did confirm that everything is set for the correct reservation. That is correct. But the problem was, apparently the department that's in charge of managing cancellations isn't open past 6 p.m. Now, I made this booking at 9. What does it actually confirm the exact time? I just know it was between 9 and 9:30. Let's see, Extended Stay America. Let's see, yeah, there's that. There's my check-in times. Does it tell me when I actually made the booking? Oh, view it. Let's view the reservation. It's probably going to say canceled because, well, Oh, what a nightmare. What a flipping nightmare. And the link that's supposed to take me to the reservation doesn't even work. Awesome. Clearly, ESA is really behind on the tech age. We are currently experiencing technical difficulties. Well, no shit you are. So, okay, I can't give you the exact time, but I do know that when I made this booking, it was between 9 p.m. and 9:30 p.m. So that means we're after 6. I made this booking while their cancellation department was closed, mind you. Keep this in the back of your heads because this is where things go wrong. The lady on the phone told me that because the cancellation department is closed past 6, she really couldn't do anything about it. So she told me, all right, call immediately in the morning, which is this morning, today, Monday, April 21st. Yeah, April 21st at 9 a.m. Call our cancellation department, explain the situation, and they should be able to help you. And I did just that. April 21st, 9 a.m. This is our next timeline. I get on the phone. I quickly take break off of work so I can get on the phone and get this whole thing resolved. I then proceed to call the cancellation department, which the lady from the previous day happily provided me the number for, so I got a direct link. I didn't even need to go through a phone tree. So I got to the cancellation department. I explained the situation, and the lady there explained, yes, that doesn't sound right. How what are you supposed to do about that? That doesn't sound right. So with all of this information done, I confirm a few details about the reservation and such, and she goes to the billing department or whoever is in charge of managing the funds and such, and she claimed it was going to take 2 minutes. It wasn't until 10 minutes later she came back, and considering it took as long as it did, knowing Murphy's Law, I could probably predict what happened. Unfortunately, I was right. I'm not trying to make her look bad or by any situation, because I can tell she tried her hardest, but she could not convince her higher up managers that for whatever reason I should be refunded my no-show fee, because again, I couldn't cancel this reservation because their cancellation department was closed. From a timeline standpoint, I had immediately called the instant they had opened since my reservation. But somehow that was not enough to convince the higher up department to say, oh, yeah, this isn't right. Maybe we should give them a refund because, yeah, we made a mistake. Again, ESA made the mistake. Not me. I double, triple checked, and I made sure I had the August dates in, and it clearly read August single digit number to August double digit number. And somehow I got back both April double-digit numbers. Again, I made sure I did it correctly. There's no way it was me. It was definitely the website. But somehow she couldn't convince her higher-up managers to do the refund. And effectively said that from what she could do at this point, she could only refer to me to contact like the specific hotel, and the specific hotel I figure was going to be absolutely no help, because what are they going to do when their higher up office does not have the ability to cancel a reservation? If their higher ups can't cancel a reservation, then how is that particular location supposed to do it? It makes no sense. And turns out, yep, I was right. So yeah, calling the hotel did me no favors. They were not able to cancel my reservation. Gee, I wonder why, because it was after 6 p.m. Yeah, this was their excuse. Every single time they denied my refund. Their excuse was, I didn't call to cancel it before 6 p.m. All right. You do now see the problem, guys, because this is the excuse I got every single time. I made the booking after 6 p.m., after their cancellation department has closed. You're denying my refund because I didn't call you before 6 p.m. when the booking wasn't made before 6 p.m. I did my best to try to explain this to them several times. I'm telling them, guys, I made this reservation at 9 p.m. past morning. 9 past morning. It is physically impossible for me to have called you before 6. But somehow none of the managers were having it. And eventually, all right, I escalated this enough to the point where I got all the way up to corporate headquarters. And this is where I am mostly concerned. Again, the lady that I was speaking to earlier that to try to help me with the situation, no fault on her part. She did everything in her power to help me out. The problem appears to be a systemic issue higher up. And eventually I made my way higher up, and I can't tell you how mad I was when I explained the situation to a guy at headquarters, and he immediately came this the second I finally confirmed all the details. He immediately came back saying, "Oh, well, we can't refund you because you didn't call before 6 p.m." How am I supposed to call you before 6 p.m. if I made the reservation after 6 p.m.? And I could tell just the way he was answering me. Oh, it's not our policy to refund you. It's not our policy to refund you. It's not our policy to refund you in this instance because you failed to do it before 6 p.m. So then I asked him, okay, then what is your policy if I made the booking and this whole thing happens after 6 p.m.? He says, you've still failed to do it before 6 p.m. So our policy says you don't get a refund. I finally asked him, are you actually okay with this policy? Because basically what you're telling me is you gave me a negative time window, which effectively means no time to you basically gave me zero opportunity to get this whole thing situated, and you're okay with this. His answer: it is not our policy to refund you because you did not call us before 6 p.m. In other words, this guy, corporate headquarters, thinks it is okay for someone to make a booking outside of cancellation department hours, and they should not get a refund if their system screws up. Coming from a guy from corporate headquarters, just by repeating that statement, that basically tells me, yep, I am okay with this, whether it's right or wrong. I've now made my way all the way to headquarters, and to see this as headquarters answer, first up, it's very concerning. So, one, this effectively means I think this means they frauded me, because I agreed to August, whatever those dates are, not April 20th to 27th. I did not agree to that. And now they're doing all of these things with my card. Well, just one thing. It's the no-show fee for something I did not agree to. I believe that's fraud, if I'm not mistaken. And again, I perfectly described this to him in this manner. I told him, effectively, what is happening here is I made a booking outside of your cancellation hours, and because of whatever dumb policy you feel necessary to hold my money against you're okay with this. Basically, corporate is telling me we're okay with fraud. That's not cool. All right, the two takeaways are, one, clearly I'm not going to be able to get my money back because corporate is corrupt on a moral standpoint, and if I had to guess, maybe not just a moral standpoint, but also a legal standpoint. And then speaking of that, the other thing, I wonder how much this has happened to other people. How many times has this happened to other people where they book outside of cancellation hours and their system screws up and they end up getting screwed with the no-show fee, just like I did? And again, from what I'm hearing over the phone, the people lower down the call support chain agree with me that, yeah, this isn't right. Something is not right with it, but they couldn't do anything without the okay from upper management. And upper management is consistently denying my claim on the basis of I effectively made the booking outside of your hours, which makes no sense. For one, they clearly do not have a policy in place for what happens if you book outside of 6 p.m. Like, I think normally on a typical work day, you work until 5 p.m., you get home, you make yourself dinner because you're hungry, and by the time all of that's done, it's after 6 p.m. anyways. That's when you attend to other chores or various activities like booking rooms, for example. So yeah, I find their whole excuse for this thing, all of it happening outside of hours, that's BS to me. They should have a policy for if something goes wrong outside of either tech support or call support, whatever support. If it's outside of hours, they need to have some form of recourse in case something bad happens outside of hours. Because to just completely deny all of my claims just because I didn't call before 6 p.m., that's bogus. Absolutely bogus. Completely unacceptable. So there are two things that I am debating doing, one of which I have already begun the process of, because clearly I have tried plenty of times to get ESA to refund me for something I did not agree to again, for a mistake that they made. Clearly, they weren't going to help me out with that, and so I have begun the process of a chargeback at this point, because at this point they've stolen, what's the exact amount? I think it's like $91.91. That's the exact amount. So it's not quite $100, but it's basically $100. Let's just agree they stole $100 from me, which is basically one night's stay. Yeah, okay, fine. It's one night's stay compared to 7 nights. Okay, that I'm not losing $700. So it's only $100. I get that. But at the same time, I do not support the idea of completely screwing the customer in this manner just because of a simple mistake. I have a good feeling if people wanted to be adults and understand that things can go wrong, maybe we could have had this whole thing resolved and I would not need to make this video and I would not need to go through a chargeback process through my credit card company. But nope, at this point, especially listening to what corporate had to say about this, they had no issue with this whole thing unfolding. No issue at all. No remorse, no nothing. Well, all of the lower tier support people I've talked to over the phone did see this as an issue. Yeah, that's something's wrong here. It's not just me, thankfully. When getting robbed or frauded like this, if you know me, I tend to get very emotional about things. I was debating going into overdrive. I'm trying to keep it tame because it's, again, later hours and I don't want to be pain in the you-know-what for the rest of my family. I was debating going into overdrive in this video. I probably should have, just to express how mad I truly am at the lack of competence from ESA. Well, not their lower tier advisors. They are awesome. But from what's going on higher up, it's just completely unacceptable. I'm in the process right now of filing a chargeback because I do not support this. And as of my corrected reservation, as of right now, it still exists. I am debating canceling it because it depends. Basically, here's what it's come down to of whether I'm going to cancel it or not, because at the same time, the amenities it's offered, a kitchenette, for what me and my buddy want to do, that's really nice. It allows us to actually make homemade meals while not being at a house. That's really convenient. And at the same time, the rate is pretty good too. It's not a bad rate. It's just I can't get behind the idea of companies treating customers this way. You know what happened when Shell did something similar to me where they frauded me out of $85 and I had to threaten to call the police on them? Ever since that day, I have never purchased a single drop of fuel from Shell. From that day forward, Red Fox never drank a single drop of fuel from Shell, except for that one time my mom borrowed the car and filled it up at Shell. But it was not my card. And as of Stardust, well, I can't speak for the previous owner of the car because I'm technically the second owner, but I can speak for myself. Stardust under my ownership has never drank a single drop of fuel from Shell. I am that salty about it until they finally refund me my last 4 cents from that whole ordeal. Yes, I'm that petty. I'm not going to give them another penny. I'm not. At the same time, I'm really debating also canceling that reservation and looking for another option. Well, yes, we'd be losing the kitchenette, and that sucks a lot. At the same time, in terms of this concept called voting with your wallet, I vote no on ESA's practices. As of right now, the reservation still stands, and depending on how this chargeback process goes, if I get it back, if I win the dispute without any hassle, then I'll probably just keep the reservation, because then that would also be a whole nightmare to get that canceled, as this past one was already a nightmare. But if they do actually fight to keep that no-show fee, all because of an error in their system, then they're not even getting the rest of the money for my reservation in August. ESA, Extended Stay America, if you're watching this video, let's do some quick math right here. Which is more worth it to you? $100 from a customer or $700 from a customer? Apparently, you think you can have both at the same time. You think that, oh, you're going to be able to collect the full $800 from me, the $100 no-show fee plus whatever reservation I have in August. No, you're not getting $800 from me. So I'm giving you an opportunity. I'm not trying to blackmail or bribe you or anything. This is the math. This is the opportunity you have right here. I'm a new customer, never booked an extended stay hotel before. This is a potential way to make a new customer. Here's the options. You're either going to refund me my money that you wrongfully took from me because of an error on your part. So I'll get my $100 back, and I will keep my $700 reservation in August. But if you decide to make this difficult, if you decide to fight me on this, it has to get escalated even further, then you know what? You might as well kiss that $700 goodbye. Your choice. I should not have to put up with this bullshit. None of your other customers should have to put up with this bullshit. This is completely unacceptable behavior. Honestly, I actually think it's also illegal behavior. You know, taking money when you have failed to provide a service that both you and the recipient agree to. Again, I did not agree for April 20th through April 27th. I never did. And I'm hoping by this video, I've made it clear I never agreed to those dates. At this point, it's their pick. This is what I'm going to do. Either way, a chargeback has been filed. It's going to take a few days for that to process. And, well, we'll see what happens. We'll see if either ESA is going to recognize, yeah, something is very wrong here, and you know what? Let's just refund the money anyway. And again, if they make this an easy process, then fine. I'll keep my August reservation. Again, it's a $700 profit for them. But if not, and if they choose to make things difficult, then I will do everything I can to claw every single penny that they have taken from my card back, and they will never receive a single penny from me again. Just like Shell. This is not my first rodeo. And unfortunately, knowing Murphy's Law, this is not going to be my last. So now I'm going to turn to you, the public. Have you had similar experiences with ESA, as I've been calling them, Extended Stay America? Have you been having similar experiences where they make a mistake and they refuse to refund you because of their mistake? Or have you had any other issues with hotel stories in the past? And share this video. Because again, when I got up to corporate and I heard those answers, that is very concerning. Very, very, very concerning. And I think a change needs to be made for the better of the consumer. Now, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a legal expert at all. Just throwing that out there. In theory, I would love to have infinite money to be able to create a lawsuit to make this change possible, because again, I legit think what they did was actually illegal. But again, I'm no lawyer. I'm no legal expert. It's just from the research that I've done and through other people I've asked, we've all come to the conclusion that yes, this is what ESA has done to me is illegal. If I had infinite money, I would love to actually put up a lawsuit, so that way corporate gets a real good wake-up call. Hey, this ain't cool. This really ain't cool. It would be awesome if we could put these corporate cults into their place. But I don't. And because I'm not a legal expert, it's over $100, this dispute. When my car got door dinged in Green Bay, which that was caught on camera, by the way, it is featured in one of my YouTube videos. When I got door dinged in Green Bay, I had every piece of information necessary to identify the owner, track him down, and get him to pay for what he damaged on my car. The issue was all he damaged was my side mirror turn signal. That was it. And it was a $20 part I bought off of eBay. I would just be an asshole if I did that type of thing. For those of you who don't know me, I don't like being an asshole. I don't like assholes. I don't think assholes are cool. And again, this is over $100, and while $100 is a lot more than 20, at the same time, we're not talking like 4, 5, 6 figures, maybe even 7. So I'm not entirely sure what the best course of action would be to make sure that ESA is held accountable for what they did to me. The only thing I can do is vote with my wallet and say, well, depending on how this reservation goes, if I keep it or not, the day I check out of that reservation will probably be the last day I ever book with them again. We have this cool power to vote with our wallets. Sometimes I wish people would use it. Most sadly don't. Yeah, if there's any legal experts or if there's anyone else who has a similar story to mine, let's start a discussion in the comments section and share this video with everyone. I want to make sure that ESA gets this message because, again, this is not acceptable. Giving me no recourse of action for a mistake they made, that's not acceptable at all. And at this point, I consider it fraud. Yeah, we're going through the chargeback process. I guess one last note I want to make to ESA, if you want to talk this over like reasonable adults, I'm not against it. Look, I might play a comedian or a complete drama king or drama doofus on the internet at times. I do it because, hey, it's entertainment. I got to stand out somehow. But at the same time, I'm not the most unreasonable person in the world to work with. It's just there are two things that I want accomplished with this video. One, I need my refund. I'm sorry. I'm getting my money back somehow. And two, we need this loophole that allows you to effectively deny refunds in this manner. We need that gone. There is no excuse why this should exist. There is no excuse why this should happen. And there is no reason why I should be making this video in the first place. You just gave me it. These are the two requests, the two ultimate changes that I want to see. One, I need to see a positive change in my bank account. And then two, this loophole needs to be gone. I'm willing to be civil. Okay, I'm not here to be an asshole. I'm just here to correct a very big mistake that you guys made. All right, community, fire away. Do you think ESA isn't wrong? Do you think that I'm a complete idiot who has no idea what the I'm talking about? Feel free to let me know in the comments down below. Thank you for watching, and do me a favor and interact with the stuff below. Random Alpha, signing out.